What's good, folks? It's Nightmare Frame here with a new Warframe video talking about the new changes to elemental damage augments like Shock Trooper, Freeze Force, and Fireball Frenzy. For those who don't know what happened, DE changed how those elemental augments work. Prior to this update, things like Shock Trooper used to be an electric damage buff that would combine with any singular or innate element on your weapon. So if you had a weapon like, for example, the Bratton here, and it's in Cardin mode, it deals heat. So when I triggered Shock Trooper, it will deal corrosive and radiation because it will combine with that heat element. However, now Shock Trooper is not combining, and it's a different elemental proc. And let me demonstrate this. So the weapon itself, as you can see, it deals corrosive damage and IPS. That's what it's modded for, corrosive damage. Now, when you activate Incarnate, you're going to see corrosive and heat. You saw that heat proc right there? Enemies are burning. We get corrosive, IPS, and the heat proc. When we activate Shock Trooper, usually you would see corrosive radiation and IPS. But now we're getting corrosive electric. And it's not combining. And right there, heat, corrosive, electric. Now, this is very powerful. However, this could be seen in two ways. This could be a nerf and a buff for some people. Why would people think it's a nerf? Well, for the people who still do Eidolons, aka dead content, you can no longer get radiation with Shock Trooper. Because before, let's go to my Eidolon loadout right here. We have the No Time to Explain, aka Zenith. It is modded for heat and will activate Shock Trooper to combine with the heat mod to form radiation. Now, well, it's no longer the case. We're getting heat and electric. Now, this is not a guaranteed proc like Valence Formation is. It is just going to be a separate elemental proc from your modded elements. Does that mean Eidolons are even more dead now? No, you can still one-shot them regardless. Eidolons are not hard at all. And for the people who are using Shock Trooper to combine with Toxin to get free corrosive or free radiation on other builds, well, that is a nerf. However, it is a buff to a lot of things. One of those buffs is Profit Taker. In Profit Taker, you would usually want multiple elements on your weapons. For example, you would have your main weapon with corrosive, heat, and it also has bonus magnetic. And then on top of that, you got Shock Trooper. Now you have corrosive, magnetic, heat, and electric, which is a huge buff. So now when you're swapping, you will always have electric on all of your weapons, alongside the modded and innate elements. But one of the biggest buffs to all of this is melee influence. Volt was already a melee influence bot. Now, it's even stronger because of all those procs. For example, let's demonstrate this. That's one swing right there. That was just one swing. One swing. We got electric, viral, and heat. Now, I added heat there because of the funnies, just to demonstrate, but it's actually not bad to have because it synergizes with your Sentinel mods. And what Sentinel mod is that? It is Manifold Bond. Reading the second part, we don't care about the first part. Killing enemies with 3 or more unique status effects reduces companion ability cooldowns. So this will reduce the cooldowns of your precepts, making it so nice to always have a high uptime on those defensive and utility buffs. At the same time, having heat with melee influence is kind of funny, and it's a free strip. The build for it is stupidly simple. Of course, I decided to go for the increase in base status chance here. So our status chance is at 121% visible without weeping wounds. But the build is pretty simple. You want to have melee influence because it requires an electric stats effect coming from your melee. And that's easily done with Shock Trooper without modding for it. You got your base damage, crit chance, crit damage, and more crit chance. Range, because Nami Solo wants a lot of range because it has insane follow through. And then your viral heat with, of course, Galvanized Elementalist to give us more status chance. So I don't need to have weeping wounds on this build. And we just swing around. There we go. We shred everything in sight. So unlike Valence Formation, it's not a guaranteed elemental proc. That's where Valence Formation wins a bit more. Lavos has his Valence Formation. Now, this is slightly different from Shock Trooper because you can have all the elements. However, every single hit is a guaranteed proc. And they did change Valence Formation where now it no longer combines with every singular element or innate elements. So it functions similar to the changed augments. But Lavos does have the advantage of having every hit be a guaranteed proc. So we hold down the third ability to give us electricity, use any other ability to get the buff. Now we have Valence Formation right here. Now notice every single hit will be a proc, triggering influence to then release the burst of status effects. Don't mind my sentinel here, it's triggering cold and corrosive. But when we swing, there you go. It triggers a lot faster than Volt with Shock Trooper because it's a guaranteed hit. We jump down. My game just froze right there because we did so many instances. Holy crap. Wow, okay. That happened. Oh, Warframe couldn't handle all those numbers, huh? All right. Well, let's take a look at the other changes with Freeze Force on Frost. We're going to be using Cyto 9's Reconifix. I did change the name, so don't get confused there. This weapon has a unique trait where when you perfect reload, you get bonus heat. And this bonus heat is guaranteed. But have a look at the build. It's modded for corrosive. I have primary frostbite here. On cold status effect, you get crit damage and multi-shot. We don't have any cold here because it's coming from frost. And this weapon has guaranteed heat. So we're going to be dealing cold, heat, and corrosive. Let's see how this looks like. Let's activate our roar to give us faction damage. Freeze Force for the elemental damage. We're going to shoot and then do a perfect reload. Now, look at bottom right. We have heat damage on our bullets. When we shoot, we're triggering primary frostbite. We're igniting enemies. And look at that. The weapon is a bullet hose, sure. Another perfect reload. Beautiful. And this is pretty much similar with what you can do with Saren and all that. And you can also do this with Lavos, and Lavos is going to be a lot easier because it's guaranteed proc. There you go. But the difference is that Valence Formation doesn't scale with strength. And here's another example. Let's not forget about Ember. Ember has her Fireball Frenzy. We get that bonus fire element on that first ability. Let's demonstrate with the Tenet Galaxian. Tenet Galaxian has innate cold. I have bonus magnetic. It is also modded for corrosive. As you can see, the build is pretty basic. We got primary frostbite. We don't need to have any faction damage mod because of roar. And you just shoot enemies. Oh yeah. We have full stacks of frostbite. We're burning enemies. We got roar. Yeah. I could say this is shredding pretty well. Don't you say so? Shockingly enough, it's not with Saren, because Saren will definitely do a better job, but I'm just saying, these are the new things you can do now with the new elemental damage augment reworks. And funny enough, this Ember build is not even a complete build. It's got no Archon shards. All it has is something I put together ages ago, and I changed out with a new aura. That's it. Slapped on Precision Intensify, and boom, here we are. So it really depends on what you do. Otherwise, these are the changes with the elemental mods. It can be seen as a buff or a nerf to some builds. I find it to be either way. I still think Lavos' Valence Formation is the clear winner here, but it does open up some new builds for your favorite Warframe. Anyway, folks, that has been it for me. I do hope you've enjoyed and learned something from this video, and if you did, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe for more Warframe content, streams, and so much more. Do it for the description. Thanks for watching, and as always, a peace. Bye-bye now.